Okay, we're gonna check our hive here. This is part 7 of our series on starting a beehive. And today we're going into here, and you can see by the front door, they got a pretty good population going here, good foragers. Today we're expecting to add a second box. We're doing it no matter what, and I'm sure they need it. And what we're gonna really look for when we open up this, look underneath this inner cover, is to see how many bees are just sitting there. So I'm not going to smoke much just so we can get the effect. They did not eat a lot of their feeder pail here because there really isn't much. They were getting down on the amount of comb to draw out with just a couple frames left. So I'll refill this. All right, so you can see now that we're getting quite populated here now. I mean, where you see bees across the whole hive. It's a warm day. We got a lot more stuff happening here at the front. So the plan is just going to be to do that, add that second box. Also, at the time that we add the second box, we need to change the size of the entrance reducer. We're going to change that to the bigger opening. So I'm just going to tip this back. So we'll go with the bigger opening today. And I will add a pollen patty also. I'm just going to look and see how we're doing here now. Okay, now this is a very outside frame. They are making comb on there. So they are working on well, all of the frames are working on now. So here is our, let's see the next frame in. And this frame is just full of larvae, from small to big. And this frame here you can see is full of cat brood, and looks like there's a bunch of eggs in there also. So we're just going to call this good. We know that the queen is alive. I'm not really going to look for her, but there. I think what I'm gonna do is I would like to find a frame that's a little more advanced and drawn out, just with honey and pollen in it. So here's our outside frame here. This just has some honey in it, nectar I should say, or syrup, whatever they're getting. I really don't want to move brood up if I can help it. So this frame here, I think I hit the camera. This frame I have in my hand that's right here, this just appears to have, they are working on both sides. So I don't really see anything for brood or anything, nothing in there. So I think that'll be my one to move up, because I think all the other ones are gonna have some sort of brood in it. So I'll put this one back in on the other side, or I'm sorry, I'll put this one back in here. But I'm going to turn it around because they're doing a good job here. So we're just going to turn this around now, and they'll draw that out even quicker then. Okay, and then we have this guy here that they're just working on the one side. I think, being that I'm even going to turn that one around, just because they'll start, more and more stuff's going to happen now. So what we want to do now is just to spread these frames out evenly, because we're going to run 9 frames down here now, no longer 10. I just want to see what this frame looks like. Okay, this frame is just all honey. Let's see, what do we got here? No, that's got some brood in it, so I'm not going to disturb it. I'm going to leave that the way it is. And being this other one is not drawn out at all, I'll put those two tight together so they don't make funky comb there. But then the other 9, we're just going to eyeball it. And sometimes it seems like there's a lot of wide gap there, but with being that the comb is already drawn out, they won't make funky comb anymore. And this, I'll put this one tight to the side here so they don't make funky comb on that outside one either. So, so this is just a visual. All right, then other thing I have here is I have a pollen patty to make sure they have enough pollen. We're getting to this time of year now. It's the end of May. We can get to a situation where there's a dearth in pollen. There's no pollen available. And we want to make sure that the colony has pollen so they can keep moving forward. Okay. So here's my second box. I did have one drawn comb. I'll put it on the outside. I couldn't help it. That's all I had. So our frame here, that's a partial. There we go. So we have our partial frame here that they are working on both sides. That's going to go about in the middle here. That'll be the bait for them to move up. And then in this case also we will push the frames together tightly so they don't make funky comb. There we go, and that's it. So now we're all set. Now I was planning on doing a 3-deep colony, but where we are in the season, that may not happen. I wanted to do a 3-deep colony, but it's just that the nectar flow is going to start in about 3 weeks. And I really would like to maybe get some honey off one of them. So maybe one I'll run 3 deep and the other one I'll run 2 deep, and we'll just compare what happens. That'd probably be the smart way to play it. So I'm just reloading the syrup pail up. Now I anticipate this will be drawing out faster now. There's more bees in the hive. The temperature's gonna, I think in a week they're talking upper 80s to maybe low 90s. So a lot of things will, oops. We didn't get that lid down all the way. See, it was starting to leak there. Error on the beekeeper error. There, that is down now. So you always want to look at your feeder pail a few seconds after you've done it so you can see if you blew it or not, like I just did there. All right, so this one looks good. It's good for another week. Things are gonna move forward. Next week, this is what I expect on this colony. I expect to see for 2 to 3 frames of 2 or 3 frames completely drawn out up on top, maybe even 4, because things are going to start happening faster. There's more bees, temperature warm up, they can expand their brood nest, they can do more things around the clock once it starts staying in the 50s at night instead of the 30s that we've had here for the last few days. So, well, let's go check. We'll go check the other one right now. All right, this is our second hive here. We're going to check. Same thing, we're going to add a second box, change the entrance reducer, give them a pollen patty. That is the drill. Same thing, got a good population using that, using the entrance. For some reason I have a lot of bees up here. Must be like the porch or something, I don't know. Maybe something's wrong with my feeder pail. Whenever you see something like that, that's kind of a red flag, unless they're just packed down below. But for some reason, the holes do not look plugged up, but we'll look at that closer. Okay, good population there on the top of the frames. I'll change that entrance reducer first, so we don't want to do it when they're jacked up from pulling frames. Okay, we're going to move this to the bigger opening now. See on the bottom here, they got some burr comb going, but they've got bees top to bottom, and then when you see that, that's a great sign. They're just covering all of the frames. That looks great. That tells me this is getting to be a decent, real nice population. They are bringing in pollen right now still, but we'll give them some pollen anyways. So they're just starting a little bit on this one, just a tiny little bit of white. Just trying to pick a frame to move up, but now this has brood in it, so I'm not going to move this one up. And I'm not going to turn it around. The brood is on this side and not on this side, so I'm just going to keep that going. And somebody decides to mow the grass around me, making a video. They aren't doing anything with this one. And let's see if we got this one. Okay, that's got eggs and stuff in it, I think. Yes, larvae. So I'm not going to move that up. So I'm just going to move up one of these that they're working on a little bit even. That will get them to go up. I just don't want to put larvae up on top right now. That can be bad. This is my second box. I do have one drawn comb because I didn't have enough new stuff. So this is the frame that they have been working on. The bees are on it. I'm just going for that. Using that, that's going to be my bait. I could use the new one, but we're going to see what happens. So we want to push all the frames tight together. We're going to add a pollen patty right where those bees are. This back on, and I'm going to refill the pail. Nice thing about the Pro Suite, this stuff would have been, if this would have been sugar water, been fermented, we would have thrown it away by now. So I am going to take the camera off here. So I am going to, being that we're going to pull the lower cork because there's bees down there. and I'm going to leave the upper cork in for right now, but I'll get that thing pail turned upside down. I'm going to go check this feeder pail out, make sure those holes aren't plugged. I got to look a little closer, but other than that, that's where we stand for right now, and we'll check it next week, and I assume we're going to see 3 to 4 frames all drawn out and brood up in that upper box as well. So at any rate, for now, thanks for watching. Bye.